celebrated more than any other in South Africa. In the history of this country since 1994 at least, has always been Nelson Mandela.
Future be trapping.
Mandela, 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 Nelson Mandela, Mandela, Nelson Mandela, 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 Nelson Mandela, Mandela, Nelson Mandela, 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 Mandela. Tata Madiba, father of the nation, bana ba go nida, go tletse mabitla, politiki re tseneletse e batla go ripa, ga ba batle go simolola go tsenya majita, parlamente e didimetse e tswere dikitla, government e dira jaaka e batla go dira, ga ba ipatle le tswelo pele go dira botoka, ga ba ipatlela fela zaka ba kuka dikgoka, ba lebetse re thata ebile re tshela dinoka, ba lebetse re bashe ebile re bala dibuka, se re se ipatlelang fela ke go
Sharpville Massacre also touched off 3 decades of protest in South Africa, ultimately leading to freedom for Nelson Mandela after 27 years in prison. He became South Africa's first black president in 1994.
Mandela, Mandela, Nelson Mandela, Mandela, Nelson Mandela, 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 Nelson Mandela, Mandela, Nelson Mandela, 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 Mandela. Mototegi setšhaba sa rona ke se se wele, parlamente e dira fela le dilo di sele man, ke kgale re didimetse re sena le puo, no ke nako e fitlhile ya go bata madulo, ba lekile ba bua mene ba sena madulo, le dikakanyo tsele tsa go ilo tsoma dimutla, ba zamile go tshwara mutla dingwaga tse supa, tsatsi lengwe ba tsoga ba ya go kgetha dithupa, ba di kgethela go ya go tshwara mutla tse supa, fa ba tsena ba betsa mutla tse tharo di a sutla, ba maketse ke phale ba ya go batla dithunya, re lapile ke puso re batlo direla rona, re lapile ke puso re batlo go direla rona.
Central to the crisis in our country are the massive divisions and inequalities left behind by apartheid. But the day of reckoning against all these people who are responsible for your problems, for the problems that you have mentioned to us, the 27th of April next year is the day of reckoning. We are going to bury the National Party.
Ke a bona ka mokgwa ba tlileng ka bongata ka teng, ke a bona gore ba batla gore e be president. Ba o tshaba ba tsa matla sa ona go ka loka jwalo ka pele.
Today's event is a people's forum, a chance for the people to ask questions of the ANC leadership. The questions today are about basic needs like jobs, healthcare, and education.
Sifuna imali eyaneleyo yokubana silungise zonke ezi zinto, kuba sifuna abantwana bethu baye esikolweni bafunde mahala. Umzala ngamnye xa ngamsanga umntana wakhe esikolweni afakwe ityala.
In this campaign, Mandela is everywhere. Sometimes it's as if the future of the new South Africa rests entirely on his shoulders.
He came out of prison as something of a demigod. He's held in awe both by his own supporters and also some of his political rivals. In lots of ways, he is not tested as a leader. He has promised more than he can deliver to both blacks and whites. And it is interesting to see how he's going to resolve this.
Mandela's next campaign stop, a few hours after addressing militant squatters in Ivory Park, is a fundraising dinner for the white business community in Pretoria. The ANC needs to reassure these white voters, even though few will actually vote for the party. If Mandela is to satisfy the expectations of black voters, he needs economic growth, and this audience can help him achieve it.
Many whites look at him as something of a great white hope, actually, insofar as he is fairly mild in the sense that he does not seriously threaten their continued good life in South Africa. And in lots of ways, he will be able to deliver to them what apartheid failed to. And this is international legitimacy, the lifting of sanctions, and South Africa's economic reintegration with the world. Most white people's quality of life won't change.
We are very much aware of the concerns of the minority. We are aware of the advantageous position that you hold, that you are the key in the building of a new South Africa. You have nothing to fear from a government of the African National Congress. I thank you.
I would certainly think that Mr. Mandela is a visionary man. He's got great visions for South Africa. Apart from being very eloquent, I think it was absolutely an experience listening to the man.
I really truly respect him, and I have sympathy for him for what he had to go through, and I was terribly impressed.
The principal beneficiaries of the new political settlement will be whites and a small black elite of roughly 1.5 million. The problem is not the 1.5 million blacks, but the majority of black society that is uneducated or undereducated, unemployed or underemployed, who are not going to benefit much, at least initially, from the political settlement.
Back at Ivory Park squatter camp, Mandela's visit has left residents eager to vote. But first, they must register, and this has been a major problem. The registration system has been overwhelmed, unable to cope with a strain of 15 million people desperate to vote for the first time, like Anna Makupa.
Mina ngifisa kakhulu ukuthi nje ngaba semuva kokuvuta futhi singaphathana kahle nje abantu sekela ukulwa yabona sibulalana into ezinjana lezo batla re itse bo re batho ka fela re na le madi musi bona motho a sa tswe madi ka fela re tswa madi jona yena o rata o ra ha jona rena re batlo hayo.
Often people's expectations are portrayed as totally unrealistic and really ridiculous. And I take great exception to that, because if you look at what people's expectations are, you go to Ivory Park or some of the places that you visited and you ask people, what do they want of Nelson Mandela when he's the president? Now they tell you they want a house, they would like electricity in their house, they would like a tap with running water, they would like a toilet with waterborne sewage, they would like to see the garbage removed on the street. So people's expectations are quite modest, in fact shockingly modest, I think.
In the great effort to create a new society and a new nation, we dare not fail. History and the world will judge us very harshly if we do not do what is just and correct. We will not have a second chance. I wish this conference success.
January 1994, the ANC's special conference debates the party's reconstruction and development program. Its plan to reform South Africa.
Amandla! Viva ANC, viva! Comrades, our people are not asking for yachts. They are not asking for holiday houses. They are not asking for thousands of rands in a safe deposit. Our people ask for water, for toilets.